Hello, this is a video on factors and multiples. So the objective of the lesson is to be able to identify factors and multiples. And probably the most common error on this question is to get the two words mixed up. So you need to make sure you know which one's which. Okay, so first we're going to look at factors, and factors are numbers which divide exactly into a bigger number. So factors are the smaller numbers that divide into a bigger number. The first question is we want to write down all the factors of 32, and I think the best way to do this is to do them in pairs. So each time we're going to write down a smaller and a bigger factor. So you can always start with 1. 1 is basically a factor of any whole number, and I can now figure out that if I want to do 32, I can write that as 1 times 32. So I know that 1 and 32 are both factors. Then I want to find another smaller factor. I know that 32 is an even number, and I can work out that 32 is 2 times 16. And this is why the factors go in pairs. If I know that 2 times 16 is 32, I get two factors there at the same time. 2 and 16 must both be factors. Okay, the next number I need to try in this list is 3, but 3 is no good because 3 is not a factor of 32. 32 wouldn't appear in the 3 times table, so I miss out 3. Next number is 4. If you know your times tables, you will know that 4, 8 are 32. So I've got 4 and 8. Keep going through the list. 5 is not a factor of 32. Neither is 6, and neither is 7. If you think of your 5, 6 and 7 times tables, you don't see 32 in any of those. Then 8 does go into 32, but if we look, we've actually already got 8 from when we did 4 8s before. So what that tells me is I'm actually done. There aren't going to be any more factors other than the ones I've already got. So there are 6 factors of 32. They are 1, 2, 4, 8, 16 and 32. Okay, now I'm going to do the same for 48. So starting in exactly the same way, we know that we can always start with 1. So 1 times 48. I'm going to leave myself a nice big bit of space in the middle for any other factors that are going to come up in the list. Okay, then next, 48 is an even number, so we can write it as 2 lots of 24. So that gives me another pair of factors. As I'm doing this, you can pause the video if you like. You can try and go ahead and see if you can figure out what the other factors are. Okay, next, 3 is also a factor of 48. You can work out how many times 3 goes into 48 as 3 16s. Okay, also 48 is 4 12s. So all of those numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 are factors. If I keep going in the same way, 5 is not a factor. 5 doesn't go into 48, but 6 does. 6 8s are 48. So that gives me another pair. And then I've only got one other number that I need to check, which is 7. And 7 does not divide into 48, so that means I must have got them all. Okay, the last one is 27. I'm going to do that in exactly the same way. So starting with 1 times 27. Okay, 27 is an odd number, so hopefully it's fairly obvious you cannot divide it by 2. So I miss out 2. I look at 3 next. 3 9s are 27. And then continuing in the same way, you need to look at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. None of those numbers are factors of 27, so I must have got them all. And that's one simple way that you can go through and make sure you've got every single factor of that number. Okay, next it's your turn. So we're asking you to pause the video at this point and do some working on your own. See if you can write down all the factors of 12 and then of 24, of 36 and of 50. When you think you've got the answers, if you then run the video on, and we'll reveal the answers for you.